Words are the newest weapons, and they're being used against us, and like they have in the past. We see it every day in real estate and in corporate America. And today, we are thrilled to have some of the leading voices in DEI with us today. I'm going to go ahead and start by introducing Cody Gilkeson, Senior Manager of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for EXP. Yvonne Furneaux, Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion from Anywhere. And last but not least, Wayne Woodyard, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Champion at Berkshire Hathaway. All right, let's go ahead and just get some history, let the audience kind of know who you are. I'm going to start with you first. Why don't you tell me the history of your DEI efforts and how far you've come with it?
Sure, yeah. So at EXP in 2019, a woman by the name of Fee Gentry, who you guys know and love, has been here before, came to Glenn Sanford and said we needed to do something with DEI. So the first initiative we had was One EXP, which is the governing body for all of our resource groups. For me personally, my career in DEI has been like one of those cartoon TNT things, right? I heard Amber Heights speak a few years ago. She's one of the proponents of adding the black and brown stripes to the pride flag, and she pushed the plunger down for me and made me think I should be doing this. And then that fuse sizzled for a really, really long time. I came to work as EXP Realty a year and a half ago as an entry-level employee, and I noticed our resource groups are really agent-centric, but what about the 2,400 employees? And when I raised those concerns, I'm really, really lucky to have had allies in my corner like Jessica Nieto, who's here. And essentially the company said, looking at your resume, maybe we should just give you the keys and let you fix it. And in the years since then, we really have, the fuse has exploded, right? My career in DEI has been just amazing. And we've put out in the past year 9 new DEI training sessions created from scratch and produced in-house. I get feedback a lot that people like the tone and tenor of my voice when I'm leading one of these trainings, giving them hard facts. I like to think of myself as like using Jonathan Van Ness's words with Walter Cronkite's voice, right? Then we worked on One EXP and building out the aspect of inclusive content that's more than just referrals and listing sharing, which we were already doing so well, but also doing that inclusive content and storytelling aspect. And we're planning succession planning for our One EXP groups now so that we can keep the content robust and diverse.
Lovely, wonderful, wonderful. How about you, Laura?
Sure, so I started with what used to be known as Realogy a couple of years ago. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with Anywhere, we are the largest residential real estate brokerage in the world. We have 6 brands, including Coldwell Banker and Sotheby's, Better Homes and Gardens, ERA. I know I'm missing a couple, Tommy, help me out. We also have about 100 title companies under our umbrella, as well as a global relocation company, close to 10,000 employees, patience and the perseverance to keep going forward.
Amen to that. How about you, Cody?
Yeah, I think, everybody has great points. I would say a big lesson for me is that you can't take for granted that everybody at your company wants this content, right? And half the battle is education. It's why is this content valuable? Why is it important? What does it mean? And countering those misconceptions that we're trying to come in your house and teach your kids a different way than what you want them to learn, right? We're talking about adults at work here. I also think that it's learning how to expound on the point that inclusive content is inarguably the most powerful tool for attraction and retention in 2023. Sometimes you have to show that in numbers, sometimes you have to appeal to someone's emotions to get that point across, but that's how we grow the brand of our DEI efforts. And over the course of the past year, we've been able to figure out what exactly it is we need from the DEI department. I'm really happy to say that we just hired 2 new people in an events coordinator role and a communications coordinator role this week that'll be starting in June. So, it's just me right now, so we've tripled in size.
You know, when we had our prep call, our questions were different than what we're answering and asking today. We quickly realized that there was a lot more meat that we needed to get into, that we realized that we needed to answer some thought-provoking questions that I think a lot of you agents will agree with. Okay, so we'll start with this one. There's an anti-woke movement that has captured the attention as of late. How are you seeing this reflected in your own agent networks? And what, if any, challenges are you experiencing? And I'm going to ask that we keep these responses kind of short because we're running a little bit low on time. So, Yvonne, we'll start with you.
Sure. First, I'll just say that anti-woke sentiment is obviously born from great ignorance around what it is that we're talking about. Because to Wayne's point, everybody wants to belong, right? And so I forget who mentioned it earlier, but if we don't understand something, our propensity is just to say no to it. So I think we're seeing that a lot in our agent base. The reality is, like I said, we've got agents all over the world and all over the country in places that some of us might not want to live. So we do hear that pushback from agents. We do hear that pushback from our franchisees. But again, this goes back to what I said earlier, is that standing firm in your convictions to say, this is what we believe in as an organization. Yeah. So you can join us in that, or you can not. And we're okay with that either way. I'll give you some examples. I've spoken at conferences. I speak at all of our brand conferences, Global Banker, ERA, etc. And we'll get anonymous feedback sometimes because they're too cowardly to put their name on it. But we'll get anonymous feedback sometimes, like pushing this down our throats and legal in Florida. I can't believe you made me sit through this. By the way, we were in Chicago, so but our stance has been, we receive the feedback and it's heard and acknowledged, and but this is our message. This is our message. Our message is that we value diversity, we want everybody to feel included, and we want to level the playing field for people who have historically been excluded with intention by our industry. So we are trying to make an intentional effort to overcome that, and again, that means standing in the face of the anti-woke movement.
Reminded, and when you run a company like that, yes, we're going to lose some people, but we're okay with that because we have our own values.
Can I just